Uh-huh.
We back, baby. You know what time it is.
Uh-huh.
Welcome to the Delete That podcast
Uh-huh.
with your boy Do and your boy P, man.
What
We
up,
got
baby?
another episode, man. We have a special guest in the building today. You feel
Yes,
me?
sir.
Yay. So yeah, stay
Hey, man.
tuned. Lock in with us. We finna shock y'all, man. Go
Hey,
ahead. Do what you got for us, baby.
hey, hey, hey. Right now, I got that Sugar Slim. Check me out.
That's Sugar Slim. Instagram. Sugar Slim Beats on Instagram. You talking him?
That's that guy. Huh?
AKA Mr. Blue Check Slim.
Come
Yeah.
on, man. Not the blue check. You
You got the
understand
blue
me? That
check
mean you
Slim?
got respect. That mean you got respect. You know what I mean? Don't be surprised if y'all see us with that blue check we hear is coming tomorrow or something. Don't trip.
Yeah. It's in the
Listen
mail.
to me, man. Hey, man. Today's show, we're going to talk some shit, man, and we're going to get into some stuff. We had a promising guest for y'all, man. We had a promising guest for y'all, man. And you know, we like to keep it real and we don't like to flake on y'all. Like I said, we like to keep it 100 with y'all, man. But we got a
100.
special guest in the building today, man. We got a special guest. We've been telling you about Emmy nominee Ameer Baraka, aka Jeremiah, coming
Yeah.
live to our set. Who would have
Yeah.
thought? Delete that podcast, baby. We here, baby. Told you. We coming.
Yeah.
Yo,
Y'all know what time it is. You know what I'm saying? It's
yes,
it's
sir.
a good Sunday morning, man. Hope everybody enjoyed Sunday service this morning. I surely did. You know what I'm saying? That part. And to make it even more special, we got the playoffs today. We got the Kansas City Chiefs,
There we
the
go.
Buffalo Bills.
Mess up a whole Sunday.
Oh, there you go.
Why he had to start with the Kansas City Chiefs, y'all. You know what I mean? That's the only team play today. They play first.
But hey, if you let me finish,
Oh, okay.
Can I go to Washington?
I mean, could you lay up with Washington? God
Can I
damn.
fly to Philly?
I'm saying,
You know what I'm saying?
could you?
I started with the number one in the in the division, and
Oh, here we go.
the number
Here
one.
we go.
I started
Here
with the
we
return
go
of the
with the
Super Bowl champions, the ones that's going for the three-peat, the back-to-back champions. It was only right, dude.
Lord.
It was only right.
Lord.
What am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to talk about the Saints?
There you go, P.
Nah, shots fired. Huh? You better hope Patrick Mahomes stay healthy the whole entire game. I don't want to hear no excuse. You better have a good backup because I hear the people say they come in this game. The Bills say they ain't playing with y'all. Now, you're starting this stuff off the wrong way. Understand me? Now, the Bills said they remembered the year before last, that big old clash, and it was a shootout. They said it ain't going to be a shootout today. Word on the street is it won't be a shootout today. What you got to say about
That. Well, I was
not
reading.
getting to the next round?
I was reading this Derek Thomas signed autograph helmet. Let me put this back. I was distracted. Excuse me.
I'm gonna tell you what another famous guy. I like the guy Bubba Dub was said that much trash. That's what that is you got going on. Shout out to Bubba Dub, man. You know what I mean?
Dallas, Texas on. You know what I'm saying? We
Yeah.
ain't hating over here. We in the same space. You know what I'm
Hey,
saying?
man.
Get that boy his props. Boy
Yes,
came from
sir.
something, nothing to something. You know what I'm saying?
As you should.
As you
You
should.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the strongest ones, man, that make it out in the end, man. You know what I
Them
mean?
streets
Kind of
of
like
beef,
what our
baby.
topic about today, man. Being the strongest ones that can make it out, man. But the playoffs though, P, I see today, like I say, man, it's got the best game of the day. Crazily, what I'm about to hit you with is both of them.
Hey, yeah, very exciting games, man. I
This,
can't take nothing away from them.
yeah, this is probably the best on both sides of a playoff of balanced teams that we gonna see that actually earn their way where they're at. When you look at seeding through the NFL, that's what I'm saying. Like the seeding of each team, like it ain't you ain't nothing by fluke. Now Washington was always, like I told you in the beginning of the playoffs, that was a scary team. It's a team that can win on any given Sunday. It's a team. It's unpredictable. It's a team with a young quarterback with a chip on his shoulder. Like, yeah, I'm here. he ain't backing down from the challenge. And they playing, and the crazy part is I'm watching the Washington team like follow this young kid,
As they
right?
should. As they
Right.
should.
They're following, they believing like I don't see, you can see he run, you know what I mean? He's being a leader, right? And he
Mhm.
understand his role, man. And every great leader, man, in the history of even war, man, was, you know what I mean, was successful. So I think Jalen is a little banged up.
I think so.
I know that Jacobs, I mean not Jacobs, I'm sorry about that. But I know this kid got to have a game like he had last week for Philly. Just because it's gonna be hard if he never get out that backfield, man. And
You
and
saw Saquon Barkley,
yeah,
the running back? Okay.
yeah, Saquon. But what I'm saying, I made a mistake and said Jacobs earlier. That's why I said my bad. But yeah, man, what he has to be what he was last week, because I don't think, and just a little bit more, because those people gonna be coming after Hurst, man. And they got a good rush up front. But they playing good ball defensively too, right? To be able to compete with these people, man. So, bro, far as me picking today,
You gotta pick a side, dude. You can't do that.
ah,
You gotta pick a side, man. I see you looking all debonair over there and all that. You know what I mean? You just can't. You too fresh to back out, man. You gotta pick a
hey
side
man, I
on both
think,
sides.
hey man, I appreciate you, P. Understand me as you should, and you're looking the same as I may speak. You know what I mean?
Man,
You know what I'm saying?
I try.
I delete that. Listen.
You know,
So, P, all I'm saying is, okay, I'm gonna tell you this. It's
tell
it's
me,
it's
dude.
hard, and I think I don't want to be wrong, and I think that's why it's hard for me to pick, because it's one of them games that is like, damn, is the Cinderella slipper gonna be is over with? Did Cinderella get her slipper back? The magic stop happening? Like, what is gonna be, or will it be a Cinderella story where
Will be.
Washington go all the way out, right? So I think the last successful quarterback you had like that was, what, it was Doug Williams or somebody way back then.
Doug
But
Williams, the last time they was in the playoffs was like 2006.
right, for a black quarterback. But when RG3, yeah, they ain't make that, they did all right, but they didn't do this.
Great hopes with RG.
Right. But hey, Pete, I'm gonna tell you straight up, uh, I think Philly got a little banged up on defense last game. I'm gonna have to a hard pick. I gotta stay with Philly.
You gonna stay with Philly?
Yeah, I'm gonna stay
Okay.
with Philly. I'm gonna
Hey,
stay
and who
with
you
Philly.
have out of the Bills and the Chiefs?
Uh, Now, I don't think it's gonna be no shootout,
Uh-oh.
right? If Patrick is healthy, the Chiefs stay healthy. I think because the Bills have something to prove, that the Bills gonna come out tough. They're gonna come out hard. They're
Mhm.
gonna come out fast too. They're gonna be aggressive, man. And they're gonna be determined to not let Mahomes escape that pocket. So I think they're gonna have a lot of man situation going on to allow five men to be up in his face at all time,
Okay.
majority of the time. If they don't, then they got a good game plan for them down four. But I don't see. I think because that core line for the Chiefs understand their chemistry on how to protect Mahomes and what he want. That part, I think, gives him the advantage, because that line is looking to block a certain way to give him certain windows to get through if all else fail, right? So you got stuff like that going on, and it's like, Okay, how do you prepare for that? So now you got to keep that extra body there, and you're gonna have to
To
watch how you.
spy or not to spy, right?
Yeah,
All
yeah,
right, they did that last game. They had a spot somebody spying,
yeah,
but our
yeah.
tackle situation was a problem.
Right,
So they,
right,
came in a little wounded. I think we fixed that.
right. Yeah, yeah, y'all did. But I think that because it's more for them, they're gonna come with everything because
They
it for them to lose, it's gonna affect like they're gonna feel a certain kind of way, man. Like again, we get back to this situation and it's them and us. We've been waiting on this game. And now this happened again. So I think they got a bigger point to prove. Now picking out of the two.
Yeah, I'm waiting. That's all. I'm waiting.
Man, P. I think the Bills get y'all this year.
There you go.
I think
Okay.
the Bills get y'all this
We
year.
get it there, right? We played them when they beat us at home. They beat us in their yard. You know what I'm saying? We had a couple of wounded soldiers. And we know just like Chiefs used to hunt buffalo. Now
Right,
you coming into our nation, Chiefs Nation,
right.
GEHA Field, one of the largest stadiums, loudest stadiums in the country. You feel me?
Yeah,
We're
yeah.
gonna come back with everybody back on the field, 11 people. And like I say, Imano.
Right, right,
We
right,
coming with everybody. I think we're gonna have home field advantage. We're gonna have the stadium gonna be crunk. We're gonna have Worthy out there running, whoever guarding him, he gonna be tired by the first quarter. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Shout out to my boy Nick Bolton. Nick Bolton, he let Josh Allen, embarrass him that time he had that run. He couldn't reach out and grab him. And he ran past, scored the touchdown, right? And boom,
right.
bro. Put a dagger in our heart. But this time, I think it's payback. I think everybody's coming in with that mind state, you know what I mean, of payback. And we got the three-peat on our mind. I think Spags is about to spaz out, you know what I'm saying? I really think he finna put a game plan together to stop Allen, hopefully, you know what I'm saying? Everybody looks healthy. Everybody's been rested up from that game. We had took a, break on, have a 21-day layoff when we had to play Broncos and get embarrassed, you know what I mean? With the starter out there, you know what I'm saying? But you know what? I think payback is gonna happen today, man. We got a bigger mission, got a bigger objective, you know what I mean? And there's gonna be time to show up and show out. You know what I mean? Hold on, dude, we lost you. Where you at, man? We're gonna show up and show out. You feel me? So with that being said, dude went backstage for a minute. We're gonna show up and show out. As far as Washington,
Hey,
yeah,
my bad, P. We was having a little technical difficulties because our host was didn't get in properly
I guess, or I hope.
and yeah, and send it again. But yeah, man. So I what back to what you were saying, P. So
Mhm.
your selection
Us. I think the people heard what we were talking about. It's gonna be us.
is that the fan in you saying
Nah,
this?
that is the observer of me in me.
Okay.
You feel me? I observe what happened. You know what I mean?
So
Go ahead. What we talking about?
I'm
You
gonna give you that. I'm gonna give you that.
okay.
You've been consistent at that. You've
What
been
did
a
you
true
miss? Is
fan.
there anything
You've
else
been
I need to repeat that you missed that you probably missed
hey man. Other than Philly and Washington.
Oh, okay, yeah. And now Philly and Washington, we had this discussion last time we was on here, man. We it was all contingent on if Jalen Hurts was hurt. He followed
Right.
his last name this last game. That rhyme right there. Last name, last
Y-
game.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah, my bad.
Yeah. What he say? Something like a poet, and you know it.
And you know it.
Shout out to Martin, man. Yeah.
I think I would like to see the young rookie get in there and do his thing, man. Um, if Jalen Hurts comes in there and his wheels are broken, his axle is a little shaking, his A-frame is not all the way there, then I see Washington coming in there even at home, giving these boys a battle. And I say, if they win, it's gonna be about 3 points.
Right.
I give them that. I really, I really say I want to see Washington in there because they haven't done it in a long time, haven't made it. And, it'd be great for not only black quarterbacks to have a young rookie come out there, especially with this rookie class coming out in this next one, to, finally get our respect as quarterbacks. You know what I mean? We're entering the game, we're taking over. Well, I ain't gonna say taking over, but that we're getting our shot, we're getting our chances. You know what I mean? Even with our coaches. So right now, it'd be great for Washington to get in there and do their thing, man. So I look to see Washington by 3, and I ain't gonna lie to you, the Chiefs and the Bills by 3 also. And the reason I'm saying that, our games have always been determined by a coin toss, a field goal, or something like that. It's not gonna be no blowout. You know what I mean? Josh Allen is a very competitive, huge quarterback when it's coming to the size of a quarterback, pause, running. Um, you know, but that type of heart and that can run the ball. You know what I mean? So what the Chiefs have to look for, the Bills have to look for on defense, the Chiefs have to look on, the same regard. They have to respect Allen's ability to run and, you know, do whatever it takes to actually win this game. But I do think that the crowd, home field advantage, and all that stuff is going to be a factor. I see both winning by 3 points, no blowouts and stuff like that. So check your Las Vegas odds and see what they're saying. If you're betting on Prize Picks or any of these sites and things like that, you know what I'm saying, you might want to check and see if I'm know what I'm talking about before we even know what you're talking about, and we go from there. But it's gonna be a very exciting game. I think the Eagles and Washington is gonna play the first game, and the second one is going to be the Chiefs and the Bills around 4:30,
Yes,
5:30
sir.
Eastern time. So
Hey, P, my
yeah,
bad, man. I had to fix our problems. And it was a phone call away. You know what I'm talking about? So with that being said, man, brother, the thing we've been waiting on, man, person we've been waiting on is here now, man. We have to walk him through, man. We gonna welcome, man, the one and only Ameer Baraka, aka Jeremiah, from the hit TV show Zatima. We're gonna welcome Ameer Baraka on set right now, the one and only, man, here on set. You understand me, with your boy P and do. You understand? What up with you, Baraka, Jeremiah?
he said he can't hear you.
You can't hear me? What you? We having technical difficulties on his end. Let's see what's going on. Uh, we gonna help Amir out with his sound, and we gonna let Pete tell y'all a little something, a little introduction, and we'll get back, and we'll be right back on set with this problem and figure it out. Pete, give me an introduction on who we got coming on Emmy nominated.
Man, we have a great guest coming on. As you've seen him, we're having technical difficulties right now. He plays Jeremiah on the show, which is a drug addict that's going through some things on there. He does a lot of movies, man. You can see him in A House Divided, Zelma, Lord of the Streets, tons of different movies and shows, man. Award-winning, daytime Emmy-nominated actor, author, dyslexia advocate, youth mentor. He's also a prison coach. So if you think about all those accolades and the things that he's done, man, you can take a journey in his life. He's from New Orleans, Louisiana. Um, he didn't have the silver spoon coming up in life. He took the hard route, and he ended up being very, very successful in a career that he's doing. You know what I mean? You can check him out on Instagram. You can check him out on Twitter, YouTube. His
Yes,
Instagram,
sir.
yeah, his Instagram is Ameer Baraka. Um, Check him out there, man. He has a lot of stuff that's going on there, and follow him.
Can you hear?
I can hear you now.
Okay.
And here he is, the man himself, Ameer Baraka. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing wonderful. How you feeling, my brother?
Man, blessed. Any day above ground is a great day for P.
You better believe it. You
Yes,
better
sir.
believe, like my man said, shit, this is America, man. You can't make it in America, you in trouble.
You can't make it nowhere.
hey, that's the beauty in it, man. When you realize what opportunity really means,
Oh, yes,
and
sir. Yes,
yeah,
sir. Yes, sir.
it's air and opportunity. I really understand the meaning of air and opportunity. All that space out there, we say we can't make it. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, man. Hey, man, the funny thing is that, growing up in the projects, you had dudes always talk about, man, the white folks ain't gonna give a nigga nothing, man, the white folk. And, you get paralyzed by that type of thinking and those words, right?
Right.
And you feel as though I can never achieve because there's some white man out there that's gonna stop you. Man, that was the biggest lie in the world, man.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
got people coming from all across the world trying to get to America, man.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Can't
sir.
nobody stop you but you. You know what I mean?
Nobody.
Yeah, man. And that is so many people, like you say, paralyzed with that mindset, man, to where I remember, like, we hated to see the police, hated the police, and we was paralyzed with that mind, like they was against us. When really, like, now if I go out places, I'm hoping they got police outside the place.
Oh, no
So
doubt about it.
I feel more comfortable going in there because the success rate of me going home, leaving that club to my car, that bar to my car, that event to my car, the success rate is a little higher because there's protection out there.
You better
Now,
believe.
and we was just taught like as if there was cops and robbers, and you played that as kids, and realizing that, man, ain't nothing wrong with being good. That was just making you separate from good and evil. You was choosing the side. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
And the wrong
So
side.
yeah. Hey, with that being said, Emil, tell us, man, about, you know what I mean, your surviving the concrete jungle, man, growing up in New Orleans, man, and just, what build the character you is today, man? Like, how do you see yourself looking back and coming up and saying that, man, when I just look back at everything, because I tell kids about embrace the journey, right? Right, the journey gonna get you to a destination, but you can
Right.
look back on that journey and say, look at all of what I came through to get to where I'm at. Tell us a little something about that.
Oh, there's no doubt about it, man. I mean, if looking back right now, man, it was a dark place because growing up in the projects without a father and not having the ability to learn to read because I was dyslexic was very challenging. So my vision, I actually never grew up wanting to be a football player or a basketball player because of my self-imposed limitations, thoughts that I thought about. I'm like, I can't be this because I can't read at a very young age. And so wrestling with that as a child, man, I was fleeced out of all what I could have been had I begun to think differently. But due to my inability to read, it paralyzed me, and that was my first form of incarceration before it became a physical incarceration. And so, praying to God,
Wow.
asking God, to make me a drug dealer, man, was normal for me because I thought that was a way of escape for me. And so, that type of challenge, man, put me in a disadvantage to win in life. I knew that it wasn't because I didn't have a father. I knew it wasn't because my mother, which was a great mother, but she was derelict in her duty. She didn't quite know and understand how the function of that position, how it should be. She was a young parent. And so, yet I still had a choice in the matter. I still had a choice in the matter. And I think what the enemy had for me was he was trying to destroy my life. I think kids need to understand that, listen, there is an enemy to your life, and you better believe that. You thinking that it's your mom, it's your dad. No, it's another enemy out there, and he constantly whispers in your ear, telling you, you can't be this, you can't be that, you need to do this, you need to follow the crowd. And I bought into that at a very early age, using
Right.
cocaine at 13, 14, 15, got on heroin, and just was doing all that stuff, man, because I was oppressed and depressed and tricked by the enemy, trying to be a real nigga. And I
Right.
was just fooled.
Right.
I was just
Right.
fooled, man. I was deceived, man. Like so many young brothers right now I see today, that same enemy is telling them the same thing. But some of them
Right.
will wind up dead or getting, they're going to end up in the penitentiary for the rest of their lives. And they're going to look back and say, well, it was because I didn't have a daddy, I didn't have a mama.
Right.
No, it was your poor choices, man.
And something you said that was crazy, that caught my attention, and you said about the being dyslexic. And when at what age did you find out that when you discovered that you was dyslexic? When did you become aware of that?
I became aware that at 23 years old,
Oh,
while doing a 4-year reprieve in a Forest Correctional Facility. I was in prison, man. I
wow,
got to prison when I was 23 years old. And during this time, when you get to the joint, they screen you to find out where your literacy skills were, right?
right,
I was reading on a 3rd grade level, and there were 32 men on the bus with me, and only one guy had a high school diploma. So
wow,
what I realized was all these black men that are going to jail are struggling with literacy. Some was reading on the 5th grade level, a 4th grade level, a 6th grade level. And so what I realized, again, people who cannot compete in the classroom are more likely to compete in prison. That's
right,
where the competition will be, on the football fields in the prison, or on the iron pile, or playing
right,
baseball. That's where you're going to compete at. But you
right,
will not compete in a conventional way in the school systems, because you feel uncomfortable because you can't read or write. So that's a huge problem that besets African Americans, and also Latinos and white people as well.
right,
Uh, it's just that in our culture, we're more prone to sell dope and to do burglaries and robberies, while a different culture, they may do that, but not as aggressive as we do it, because we have a rap culture that is perpetuating that lifestyle and glorifying that lifestyle.
wow. So with that being said, when you was 12, 13, and 14 using drugs, and what I mean, the depression and the oppression you felt, you was also feeling that, because you couldn't even identify, no one identified what was actually wrong with you. So
Absolutely.
that's right. And I see people in my field of work that be like that, when they don't when people can't identify what's wrong, why I can't do something. I mean, I remember my dad in his later stage getting frustrated because he was suffering from dementia, and it was bothering him because he couldn't. He was like, "What's wrong with my mind? What's wrong with my mind?" So it's I could identify and embrace with those type of feelings, man. And it helped you get out. Once you at 23, you're now reading. You're starting to get the idea to want to learn more about yourself and start reading books. And what was one what did you start read? What was the book? What type of books did you read while you was locked up?
Well, the first book that I ever read in my life, I floundered through reading this book. So I knew small words. It was the autobiography of Malcolm X. And one of the things that I was able to extract from that book was the fact that Malcolm, while doing time in prison, he studied the dictionary. So I said to myself, okay, I emulated a bunch
Wow.
of drug dealers. Now I want to emulate somebody positive. So everything I got my hands on, I read. Another book was titled The Invisible Man. That was a book that I read very early on. Another book was Think and Grow Rich. I mean, I just read everything that I got my hand, a lot of history books. And so learning about yourself, learning about where you came from, who your people was. And one of the things that impacted me was, like, I saw all these black men in jail, right? Who
Right.
committed crimes. If you commit a crime, you rob, you shoot somebody, you sell dope, you need to go to jail. point blank. You're destroying your community. You go out there, man, and you kill somebody, you shoot somebody, and I think you need to go to jail, not for life, but you just need to really get yourself together and come back and be a decent citizen.
Right.
But
Yeah.
I thought about this. I said, our people came here by force. They forced them into a prison, right?
Right.
And into slavery. Now I'm giving up my own will by my own volition and saying, I'm going to commit a crime and I'm going to prison and I'm going to work in this field for 4 years. I'm going to work in this field for free. That was so befuddling to me. It's like, how did I get myself into this situation? How could I put myself where some guy is telling me, sit down, shut up. You can go to the bathroom now, get off the phone.
Right. Right.
I put myself in that situation. And I said to myself, no man again will ever tell me what to do.
Right.
No man will never tell me to shut up. So, you know, I just started growing. I had an insatiable appetite to read and to learn and to talk to older dudes, man. I wanted to get out of not only my physical prison, but this mental prison. I was mentally incarcerated. See, the incarceration starts mental first.
Right.
Then it becomes physical.
Wow.
Right? It becomes
Right.
physical. Once you start committing crimes, you are mentally incarcerated. It's going to be a second before now you become physically incarcerated, because thoughts become actions and actions become behavior. That bad behavior is going to end you up in a prison cell. So you have to watch what you start thinking about. The Bible said, as a man thinketh, so is he. So if you get out of jail and you start thinking about selling drugs, then you act on it. That thought becomes an action. Now you're constantly selling drugs. That action becomes a behavior, right?
Right.
What you think gonna happen to you?
Right.
You go into a prison cell.
Yeah.
So you got to check your thinking, man. And I learned to control my thinking. I learned to control my thinking no matter what situation I'm in. I said, I will never go back to jail. Listen, Abdul is my brother, and I said something right now. This is how a dude might say, well, man, you never know. You can't never say you ain't never going to go back to jail again. So I asked this guy, I said, you can say what you'll never do. Oh, man, you can't never say that. I said, let me give you a question. Now, don't get mad at me. I said, you have a daughter? He said, yeah, I have a daughter. I said, how old is your daughter? I said, she's 13. I said, would you molest your daughter for $50,000? Hell no. I said, would you do it for $5 million? Hell no. I said, well, don't say what you say you'll never do. There's some things I know I will never do. I ain't never going back to jail. Listen, I got a mom. If my mama called me up and told me somebody broke in our house and I see that Negro, I'm calling the police. Because if I kill him or beat him bad, I'm going to jail.
Yeah.
I'm calling the police, man. I'm Charleston and White these niggas, man.
You know what? You saying that we're laughing, man, but it's so real just because it made me think while you're saying it, what would I do? And it was like a resonation inside me, like said, like I know what you know what I'm saying. I know I normally would do.
Yeah.
And you gotta think about the consequence.
You go and hurt somebody.
Right. You gotta think about the consequences before you act. You know what I mean?
You gotta think about the consequences.
I used to not think about the consequences and used to just act. And every time it got me a result. Like, damn.
Yeah.
Again.
But man, you know, those first were the ways that I had to extricate myself from my own personal incarceration and self-imposed limitations. You know, It's like I can't be somebody irregardless of the fact that I had challenges coming up as a kid, because I'm struggling with literacy. I still can be somebody. So I started dreaming in prison, man, to become an actor and a model. And a lot of guys laughed at me. I'd given my life to the Lord, and I was serious about the Lord. Because he had a bunch of promises in there. And I'm like, hold on, if God can do this for me, hold on, let me see if this is really real. And so fast forward to where I'm right now, man, it's real. His promises are real if you can hang in there and get through the tough times. So,
Right.
you know, I've written a book, Undiagnosed: The Ugly Side of Dyslexia,
Mm-hmm.
that brought me to Washington, D.C. to testify before the United States Senate. I speak
Wow.
around the country about dyslexia. I get paid for that. I get paid for selling my books. I've written 2 books. One,
Wow.
Undiagnosed: The Ugly Side of Dyslexia. The other one is The Life I Chose, The Streets Lied to Me.
Wow.
And so I'm doing very well, man. I'm thankful. I'm grateful. The Lord has blessed me. I'm on this TV show with Zatima, which is the #1 show on BT Plus for the
Wow.
4th. We shot the 4th season. We're going back. Praise God. Going back in a couple more months to shoot the 5th season. It's all happening, man. I'm on another television show, House Divided, that we just did a spinoff for that last
Wow.
year. And it's things are just happening, man. It's just happening.
Wow. Wow. And you said that you've written 2 books, man. And so your first book, that I was told that that book actually was started being placed in penal systems and
Yes.
things like that.
Yeah, that book is in the joints, man, all throughout the South. I go to different joints and just hand out books, you know, because it's like it's paying it forward. Like, these guys
Right.
really need to understand that I was in the same prison cell, right? Just like you guys, and it started there. My life began to change not when I got out. It started when I was in prison. And I
Wow.
talk about things like, if you can't keep the rules in prison, you're not gonna keep the rules on the street. If you in prison and you stealing meat out the lunchroom, you're gonna
Yeah.
steal out here,
Yeah,
right?
a lot
So
more.
your thinking needs to change while you in here. Don't wait till you get out. Tell me what you're gonna do is right.
Yeah.
It's got to change right now.
Right. Right.
You know,
Right.
all those that antisocial behavior, all that bad behavior, man. What we were taught, you know, how to be sneaky, how to get away, man. Gambling in jail. I mean, all that stuff, man. You got to rid yourself of
Right.
that stuff, man, and strip
Right.
yourself down and say, you know what? I want to be a real man. A real man gets up every morning and go to work.
Right.
A real man serve God. A real man help other people. A real man don't have
Right.
jealousy with his brother. A real
Right.
man tries to give. He's a
Right.
giver, man. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so
Right.
I had to learn what a real man was, man. And I had to learn that by trial and error and picking up books and reading books and
Right.
watching other people and confining other real men and wanting to emulate the square guy now. I don't want to
Mhm.
be a drug dealer no
Right.
more. I want to emulate that square man, that smart man.
Right. And you know, like what I think with guys in prison, what happened, there's 2 different guys, right? You had become one of those guys that was in prison while you was doing your time, and those 2 C's come up, right? And that ain't for correctional center, but those 2 C's is saying there's a guy that's content in prison, and then there's a guy that's comfortable in prison,
Yeah.
right? People that practice those bad behaviors and continue to gamble. And I mean, I used to be one of those people. And and you and you know that they're comfortable in jail. They ain't missing a beat. They're
Yeah.
josing.
It's
They
fun.
say they
Fun.
josing, right? And then there's the person that become content in his environment. He ain't comfortable, but he's content. He has found peace within himself to start reasoning and talking with himself. And people used to tell you was crazy because you talk to yourself. Sometimes you got to talk to yourself, your inner self, so you can really try to identify, like, how long you gonna allow these people to have control over you?
Yeah.
How long you gonna enslave? You keep talking about the white man and it's racism. Yeah, we know racism. Yes, it exists. He's not holding you back. It's you holding you back because you're saying the excuses and this excuse and that excuse. I teach kids now, we don't make excuses, we make examples. Right. So don't come tell me the militaries have a similar thing where you don't come tell me a problem. We already know we got a
Yeah.
problem. Come to me with solutions, man. Don't come telling me we got a problem. That's evident, right? You're wasting energy and time. But I think for you, you had then became content in your environment to start studying yourself and feeding into yourself and saying that I am one with myself. So it took time that you didn't just waste. The most
Yeah.
important thing in life we could waste is time.
It's time. One of the things I had to do was I had to come to the term that I did not know anything, that I was completely wrong. The way that
Right.
I was thinking was wrong. I had been taught wrong. And so that's one of the biggest things, because most people don't want to admit that they were wrong. I had to come to the end of my rope and say, you know what, Amir? What the information that you was given was completely erroneous. All that
Right.
information was bad information, what you was taught. Delete all of that stuff. Now start
Delete that.
uploading all the positive information. And one of the things, I never forget this, we were in the cafeteria where we just got through with child, and I was working in the cafeteria, and it was about 8 brothers. And so we're in child, one of the deputies, a white guy, country white boy, cool white boy though. He said, man, I have a question for y'all. He said, man, how do y'all come in and out of these jails and leave y'all children on the street?
Wow.
I said, whoo, whoo.
That was deep.
I didn't have any kids, but I know other men had kids there.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And it's like, you left your children, man. You left your children. Man, that hit me. And I said to myself, man, I left my mama. I was so selfish. Look how selfish I was. I was so selfish that I was selling dope. I didn't care nothing about my mama, nothing about my grandmother, not the
Right.
fact that it was gonna hurt my sister, my brothers. It was gonna hurt me. But I was selfish.
Wow.
I thought only about me, not how my
Wow.
mama was gonna feel. So I had to realize, man, I was a selfish individual. I
Mm.
was concerned about me. I can sell dope. I can do what I want. I can't do that, man, because I'm gonna hurt people in the process. So
Mhm.
Right.
it was a metamorphosis that took place, man. That happens over time, but it happened rapidly. Those 4
Right.
years, if I had to go back and do them again, I would do them with no problem to learn what I got out of this.
Right. Right. Wow.
So
Yeah.
Wow.
you were diagnosed. You found out you were diagnosed in prison. You went
Yes,
your
sir.
whole lifespan. What if you had to help a young kid that's out there right now, or a parent that doesn't know, or a kid that's afraid to say, you know, this is I'm having these issues.
Right.
What services can you recommend to people, or do you know that's out there that can help the younger person coming out there to help diagnose this a little early to give them some help?
Well, this is very crucial, man. This is imperative. If a kid is not okay, a kid learns to read from the first grade to the second grade. He learns to read. From the third grade up, he's reading to learn. Right? You got that?
Yeah.
So if that kid does not know his alphabet sounds by kindergarten or the first grade, something is wrong, because that kid should know his or her sounds. Ah, ba, ka, da.
Mhm.
And so the dyslexic brain, it does not register. It needs more practice. But if you don't attend to it, the reading gaps get broader and broader as you go to the first grade, second grade, third grade, fourth grade. You get further and further behind. So there are screenings right now. So if a kid is in the second grade, third grade, and he's not reading, right, you need to have your kid screened. Go to your schools now. What the schools are going to do is, private schools will talk about dyslexia because they have the resources. Public schools will throw you in a one of those classes. What do you call that? One of those classes for like
Special
Yeah,
ed,
L or
special
something.
ed. Oh,
Okay.
something wrong. Oh, he's a little bit slow right now.
special needs.
Special
Yeah.
needs.
Mm.
Parents, do not allow your kids to fall into that. You have to fight for your kid. You have to go and say, listen, I want my kid screened for dyslexia, because the school is obligated to fund that. But if the parent
Oh
doesn't
wow.
know that, they'll
Okay.
kick your kid to the curb. So these are things that you have to know. Parents got to go down there to the school board. You got to quit playing, watching football and all that. You better be fighting for your kids, man. And
Right.
so when I go to Washington, D.C. every October, man, you got to see it's thousands and thousands of white folks, man, out there. I'm like, where the black people at? I guess we don't have time, or maybe we don't have the, but they're advocating, bro. But
Wow.
more importantly, they're advocating for all kids.
Right.
They are
Right.
advocating for all kids, not just their kids, because these people have money. The people that go to Washington, D.C. every year, and these conferences that I go to around the country, they're all white. They have the money, but they're
Right.
advocating for all kids. And that's the great thing, man. So I get out there and promote early screening, uh, remediation, and telling my story, and letting the public know that, listen, we have to fight against this issue. This issue can be addressed properly with the correct remediation, at the evidence base says that this is the way that you ought to teach a child who's dyslexic. Let's follow the evidence. Let's
Wow.
follow the evidence, right?
Wow.
And so that's what I'm advocating.
Wow.
That's good, man. So
Hey,
when you oh, go ahead, dude.
no, I was what I was wanting to say was like in the process of this journey, for especially for the young kids out there, man. Like, what has kept you to to be on the grind that you've been on to make it from the transformation from prison back to the streets, understanding how to operate inside of a system, right? Because everything we do in life is a system, and we have to figure out how to work inside that system to keep that system flowing. We kept rebelling against the system, and but you stayed disciplined. What caused you to get to where you at, like right now? Like, what was your motivation?
Well, there's the word of God said that where there's no vision, the people perish.
Right.
You have to have a vision, right? Where you want to go. And you cannot allow anything to make you deviate from that vision. Now, that vision is going to be difficult to get to. And there's going to be many opportunities for you to take other different roads and to get weary and to get tired. But that's where the power of the Holy Ghost come in. That's where your relationship with God comes in. There's been many nights, man, I had to get on my knees and cry. I'm like, God, why is this taking so long? I thought you said this was going to happen. You know what I mean? But I had to pull
Right.
myself up by my bootstraps, get into the word of God and say, man, you know what? I'm going to make it, man. Because I know that there are children that's in Chicago that need to hear me. There's children in Detroit. There's children in Alabama that need to hear my story. And if I stop, they'll never hear me. So I had to find something bigger than myself to live for. And that was other people. That was making sure that I continue to push, that some shorty can pick up my book and read my book and say, man, you know what? I'm gonna be like that dude. So that's
Right.
that's why I'm driven. My work is not done. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
not
I
done, man.
like that, man. You I can see that was taking the selfishness out of it again by coming out and giving to other people, shorties and stuff like that. So your transition from getting out, once you said I'm gonna make that move, what was your steps to getting into acting and book writing? Like, what was the steps to help
Yeah.
another person get out to achieve those goals?
Well, one of the steps I did was immediately I got out of New Orleans. When I got out of prison, I stayed in New Orleans for 7 days. I knew that I couldn't be an actor in New Orleans. So I got on the plane, went to California, stayed with my brother for 6 months, got me a job, valeting cars, and got an apartment that was a roach infested apartment. And I said, man, I don't care what, this is better than prison.
Mhm.
And bruh, I just went after what I wanted to do. And it was got into acting school, man, and just pursued it and pursued it and pursued it. And man, it was a tough road, man. It's bruh, and it was lonely. It was lonely. It was hurtful, man. I remember eating, I had a pot and a pan in my house, man, and eating mashed potatoes and baked chicken, or eating oatmeal morning, noon, and night, or eating grits morning, noon, and night. But that's the sacrifice you have to have. See, everybody want to live big now. A dude once told me, he said, man, you can't live big and get big at the same time.
Correct.
So we want to, we got to stay clean for the bras. I didn't care nothing about no woman. I didn't care nothing about nothing. Only thing I cared about is becoming an actor. That's all I cared about.
Yeah, because
I
now they
ain't
want
trying to
that
impress no
instant
woman.
gratification.
Huh?
They want that instant gratification now. They
Yeah,
want
well,
that way
yeah.
now. Yeah.
That's going to send you to the penitentiary or get
Yeah.
you derailed from your vision, right?
Right.
And so I didn't care about any of that. And right now to this day, man, I don't care about none of that. I have a goal. And if you ain't meeting up to my standards, get out of my way. You have to be selfish as a successful person, man. You got to be, because it's about winning. It's about getting to where God wants you to be, man. And sometimes you got to kick people to the curve, man.
Wow.
And you can call it selfish, you can call it whatever you want, but man, listen, man, I'm trying to save lives, man. And if you weighing me down, it's not gonna happen. So that was the process, man. And it was just a journey, one thing after another, and then you start getting the movie, then you get the next one, then you get another one. But with the book, it took me like 4 years to write that book. man, I wrote probably like, I would write 2 pages, man, maybe every week or something. It's just, it was daunting. It was, I'm like, can I do this, man? I mean, you start having self-doubt. Can I do this? Is this really what God wants me to do? But I just kept putting that pen to the paper, and I finally got it done, man. Finally got it done, bro. I'm telling you, bro, you got to push through it, man. When you hurting, when you crying, cry. I know it's okay. Cry. It's okay to cry. But the next day, get back up and get back to work.
Man, they say crying heals the soul, man. And if you take a brick and lay a brick day by day, eventually you have a building. You know,
Man, like my man said on a Snowfall, brick by brick.
brick by brick.
Brick by brick.
You don't like the way a nigga talk. Yeah.
Keep your head down, keep your mouth closed, and let me get you out of this like I got us out of every motherfucker. Yeah, but that's what God is telling us, man.
Right.
God is telling us that, man. Listen, keep your head down, keep your mouth closed. Let me do this, man.
Yeah.
Let me do this. I'm gonna get you out of this, but let me do it. I don't need you thinking. I don't need you figuring out to my old. No. Listen, you gonna mess this up.
Hey, commitment, crying, and consistency. Put another commitment, crying, and consistency.
Consistency, bro. That's it's the key, man. It's the key. It's to where it has me at right now. And then once you get there, it's like God begin to send people to help you. He's gonna send people to help you. And that's what people don't realize, man. If you just stay doing what you're doing and trusting in the Most High and living, I'm talking about obedience, man. I ain't talking about you talking to God, but then you hitting this broad. You're going, no, I'm talking about obeying God. I'm talking about being a real follower of the Most High. He said, obey him with holiness and righteous living. You can't obey God and you dabbling with this broad. You're doing this shit. You got partial feel. You got duality in your commitment, and you cannot have duality. He said, man can't serve God and mammon. You're gonna choose one and hate the other. And so this, I had to process all this stuff, man, because I was one of those guys, man. But the moment I got myself committed, right, and made those decisions, man, the skies became the limit, man. And I went on to win an Emmy for a television show that I was on, Bronx SIU. I mean, God, man, you just started elevating, man.
Wow. Yeah, man, that's big. That's big, man. Like, and just for kids that's out there, man, that's going through and thinking that you got it bad, man. It's always somebody that has it worse. You always got to think of that. Let that be your motivation to get up, man, and press forward. If you ain't hear nothing else today, you didn't heard a person that has went through the concrete jungles of New Orleans, meaning the projects, because there was brick buildings, man, that withstood storms and hurricanes and things of that nature. So you was taught to be. We saw how to be strong. We saw how to, you know what I mean, withstand some stuff. So it taught you to be tough. Right? Life was tough, and it shaped your character inside that journey. Your character is shaped to become what you desire to be. A lot of people desires are not high, right? They set limitations on their lives, and I think the desire to not accept no, they're always yes. Somebody gonna say yeah. Somebody gonna say it. That was getting back to the movie. You know what I mean? Where that was one of his biggest things, desire. He desired to be what he was gonna be.
Yeah,
he wasn't gonna let nobody get in the way of that. You know, but change that bad desire to a good desire, and you could do some great things. You know,
no doubt about it. Having a good mentor, finding the right people to speak life into you, man. That's very important. I think a kid need a good mentor, and a kid has to have one. This is what the number one skill that any kid needs to win in life. He has to have the skill to listen. Most kids, they don't listen. They think they know everything. You don't know nothing, man.
Right.
You 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, you don't know nothing, man.
Yeah.
Listen, man.
Yeah.
I remember Derrick Rose tells a story about when he was coming up. He had like 6, 7 brothers, and they were all in gangs and selling dope. And the older brother told Derrick Rose, man, you ain't gonna sell no dope, man. You gonna play basketball. And Derrick Rose listened.
Wow.
Was making 25 million a year because he listened.
Right.
So you got to have the skill to listen. If you don't listen, you're going to eat the fruit of your labor, man. Whatever, listen, you are where you are because of your thoughts and values. If you're successful, you're there because you thought things and you spoke things. If you're in a penitentiary, that you thought things and you spoke things, that's where you're. Wherever you are, that's where you're supposed to be, because you thought that and you spoke that.
Right. And that goes to saying a organized person is most likely to be successful.
You better believe it, man. What you talking about, man? Man, what you talking about, man? Good God from God. You organized, you going somewhere. Man, you going somewhere. I want to know you, man. I want to know you.
And hey, just saying that it's about networking, man. Something we learned in Barber College, me and P, they told us about networking. We always knew like the street side of networking, but not understanding the blue collar, white, the networking is saying we're getting you got to get around like-minded people that's trying to accomplish some things.
Yes,
I
sir.
don't want to be around somebody that's I'm thinking about success and you telling me about, man, you know what, he made me mad as a mother today, bro. I'm trying to get somewhere. My mind ain't on that. You still talking about him from yesterday, man. It's a whole new day, right? So, but because of, I remember having phone calls from some friends of mine, may they rest in peace. They used to say, man, we wish you was still out here with the, man, it's hard down here, man. We wish you, why you wish I was still down there? And say it in the same tone that like, man, well, I see what you're doing, man. You're doing some good stuff, man, but man, it ain't the same since you've been going. And I'm listening to this, and you're saying you wish I was still in that confinement?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like, you coming from a good place in your mind, but in my ears, I'm receiving that like, boy, I'm glad I ain't down there. You know what I'm saying?
Misery love company, man.
Yeah.
And you
Yeah.
got to think about it. Like, let's think about all the artists that stay in their hometown and end up getting murdered. You know,
Yeah.
and you
Oh
come
yeah.
back and be that real dude or that real, nigga in the area. And the only thing they want to do is either take from you and take your place, and you end up dying right there. You got Nipsey Hussle, Mo3. You
Oh
see
yeah. Oh
Boosie
yeah.
and all them needed to get away, and it's a lot of artists right now that need to
Young
get
Dolph.
out of their environment. Young Dolph,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
sad to say, you know what I mean? Like, get away. If you can move out and you doing all this, man, the key is to be able to provide for your family. Get up out of those environments, man. Don't go back and trying to prove nothing to nobody but yourself, God, and your people around you, man.
Now, especially now, if you're taking that gangster mentality, right? So
Right.
guys took the gangster mentality, right? About this street shit. They brought that street life into
Their careers.
life,
Yeah.
right? And
Real
so
dirt.
you live in the same city, but it's how you conduct yourself. If you represent, I'm a killer, I'm a gangster, because listen, man, I know Boosie, man. I know Boosie. Man. I know Boosie. I
Right.
did a movie with Boosie, man.
And Web, yeah. Yeah.
In Webby.
Yeah.
When Boosie was locked up in I think that was DCI, man. We did a movie up there, and bro, man, I mean, bro, I don't know what it is, man. Like, these be good people, but they getting into the rap music and they just twist. This is not you, bro, because personally, you're not gonna pull the trigger. You're not
Somebody
gonna.
is, yeah.
You're not gonna pull that trigger. The dudes around you will pull the trigger, but you living vicariously through another character. These people are some of the best actors in the world, man. I'm not an actor. These people are actors, man.
Right.
These man, you sit down and listen to these dudes, you like, that nigga a gangster. That nigga ain't no gangster. I know the gangsters, man. I know the killers, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, I know P, I know Silk the Shock, I know C Murder. Man, these were good guys, man. These were school guys, man.
Yeah.
But they portrayed a different music, man. And sometimes, man, that gets you. I am not a gangster. I am a Christian. I'm a good citizen, man.
Yeah.
Man, I'm telling you, man, I don't have nothing to do with that, bro. And bro, you know, I got a body under my belt at 14. But I ain't boasting in that, man. That was ignorance, man.
Wow.
You think I'm gonna be boasting talking about I killed a nigga? Man, that was somebody's a son.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Shame on me, man. So I'm gonna boast on that. So now I make a nigga gonna kill me. You know, so we gotta, man, listen, man, them dudes bring that on themselves, man. Them
Wow.
dudes bring that on themselves, bro.
Yeah, because look at Lil Durk right now. He facing
Look,
Wow.
Dirk,
major
look,
stuff,
Dirk
man.
will never get out of the
Yeah.
penitentiary.
Ever.
Amen. Come on. Yeah.
Ever.
Bad.
The man got millions of dollars.
And
Now,
children.
Won't be able to enjoy it.
why would you want to be a gangster and you are a multimillionaire?
Right.
I don't know.
Hey, Mill, you know what I tell kids nowadays? You guys, and 50 said it too, right? But you guys, we fought everything we did to get out of the hood. We did it to get out of the hood. We wanted a better life. There's kids that's not hood fighting to be hood to die, and we fighting to live. Like what?
Yeah.
You think we did that to die? we didn't do it to die. We wanted to live. But there's the people that get caught up the most is the people that imitate these lifestyle
Yeah,
and movies and music and think they could go and do the same and live like that.
Mhm.
You know, I remember saying to myself, man, I'm gonna take bullets like Scarface. So when I was getting high, I'm gonna better take a few of them. And when my son was killed in Texas, the dude, he was in the bed with these machines hooked up to him. So we still praying for hope. And a guy, one of his friends come in who I told him wasn't going to pop a shot for him. But he said, oh, he always said he could eat a few bullets. He gonna shake back. And I listened to the spirit
that's
that
good.
I was possessed with,
Yeah,
had then jumped on and he said the same words I live by. And it crushed me hearing that, saying that I passed on a curse, man.
that's on the curse, yeah.
I passed on the curse because I had the power to break it, but just didn't have the knowledge to know it,
Yeah,
right? That's why our people perish for a lack of knowledge. And I just didn't have the knowledge to know that I had the power to break it and could have saved his life. But I didn't, right? And it hurts when you lose a kid. And I lost a kid that's not my kid. And I was that close to saving him and listening to the mama say when I said who I was, because she had never saw me face to face, right? And
Mhm.
she just always heard me over the phone saying, I run a youth program. I want to get your son out there, yada, yada, yada. And I introduced myself at a visual and she said, oh, I should have listened to you. I said, no, ma'am, don't beat yourself up with that regret. He made a decision that day. That
yeah,
wasn't on you, you know?
yeah.
So I get that, man. You know what I mean? We you know what I mean? I appreciate you, man. I appreciate the nominee, the Emmy nominee, the one and only, you understand me, Ameer Baraka,
Oh yeah, yeah.
aka Jeremiah. You understand me?
Hey man, listen, like I said, man, it's wonderful. This is America, man.
Yeah,
This is
yeah.
enjoy America. Go out and do great things. It's America, man. This is
Only in America. Only in America.
you better let the people know this is America, man.
John
Man,
King
love
that
y'all.
day.
I appreciate you guys, man. Thank you so much for having me on, man. If you guys want me back, let me know. Have people to watch the shows, Zatima on BET Plus. I play the character Jeremiah.
Yes, sir.
Own up on there. I'll keep you guys posted. I got another show that I'm about to do at the end of this month. Things are going well. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate y'all allowing me to be on your platform.
Hey man, we appreciate you, brother.
Shalom.
Yes, sir. Thank you for blessing us, baby. Yes, sir. Hey, man, with that being said, man, bring in that track from Sugar Slim, man. Let me hear my guy, P. We about to go out this thing, man. It's Delete That Podcast, man. It's your boy, P and Dude. Give him some love, P, before you go out, baby. Tell him something, baby.
Man, you already know, man. Like we were discussing, we had a good topic, man. Look, it's never too late. From the streets to the suites, man. You can make a change, man. Always keep God first, family second. Like I said, give love. It'll come back. You know what I'm saying? Just don't look for it. It'll automatically come and they're going to sprinkle you, man. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Sugar Slim, man. Sugar Slim Beats on
Yes, sir.
Instagram. Mr. Blue Check Slim, you know what I'm saying, for all your music needs, you know what I'm saying? And
Yes, sir. Hey, make sure you hit that subscribe
yeah,
button too, and that share button, and
yeah,
that like button. And
yeah,
don't forget about the bell. That's gonna keep you alert anytime we get alert. You
that part.
understand me?
You know what I'm saying? We want to thank y'all for coming in. All our listeners that we had today, you know what I'm saying? Check us out, man. Hey,
Delete that. Delete
yeah.
that. Delete that. Delete that. Delete that. Huh? Delete that. Yeah.
Hey,
Delete that. Huh? Just delete that. Delete that, boy.